SnowTrax is sponsored by Ski-Doo Snowmobiles. Experience that Ski-Doo feeling. Yamaha revs your heart. And by FXR Racing. Maximum versatility for all conditions.
I've been to Newfoundland a couple times doing what I do for a living, and both of them were in the summer months. I've only ever heard stories about how awesome Newfoundland is in the winter and how the riding is unlike anything you can get anywhere else. So while we were here in the summer, these guys just kept telling us over and over and over about how you got to come back in the winter, got to come back in the winter. It's amazing. And at the end of the last trip when I was here, I said, look guys, like, let's make this happen. Let's get us out here this winter and let's prove to me how great it is and prove to me you're telling the truth. So sure enough, you know, we get the phone call this year from Craig from Rugged Edge, who's sort of our hookup here, it seems. He's kind of our guy on the ground. Called us up and said, guys, the Federation wants you guys to come out here, wants you to promote the area, and I'm here. We're gonna hook you up with the stuff you need, the equipment. Let's get out, let's do some snowmobiling in Newfoundland.
This past summer, many times during their visit, you'll be quite surprised to see the difference, how the view and scenery would look in the wintertime versus summer. And again, we invited Luke and Vern from SnowTrax, and we spent a few days snowmobiling here in Newfoundland.
This is Luke's evening attire. This is what he wears at Praise Snowmobile.
So a little twist to this story. Last season's North America's Top Snowmobiler winner, Dustin Boyd, was going to join us on this trip because he's from Newfoundland. He's from not too far from here. Never met Dustin before. AJ had told me he was a great guy. So it was a great opportunity for me to get to know him better and to go for a spin with him.
Day one, our ride was going to be limited to a smaller group. So we had Dustin, Luke, myself, and Craig. Craig was leading the charge in guiding us that day.
So on our first day with Luke and Vern in Newfoundland, we decided we would attempt to make it into the Lewis Hills, show them around what we had right on the west coast to offer for snowmobiling. That day the weather wasn't quite in our favor, so we left. We traveled to the top of Myrtle Mountain, and I could show them in the distance where we had planned to travel that day and where we would travel over the next few days while Luke and Vern were here in Newfoundland.
The skies can open up to just actually a beautiful day like we're having today. And then it can close back in depending on how far up in elevation you go. As we got back up towards more the area that we're going to be riding, which is Lewis Hill, the weather started to move in a little bit. We got a little bit more socked in with some weather. It wasn't going to take away from the experience we were going to have that day. There was lots of amazing zones that we were able to find.
One of the great things about Newfoundland snowmobiling is that we offer a wide variety of terrain and riding condition for the customer that decides to come here to snowmobile, that wants to visit Newfoundland. If someone wants to visit Newfoundland and go snowmobiling, we've got two options. You can either take a truck or your car and take the ferry across from North Sydney to Port aux Basques. Your other option would be to fly. If you come on the boat, want to bring your own snowmobiles, you can. If not, if you want to fly to Newfoundland, there's lots of places that can rent and offer tours.
Here in Newfoundland, you can basically go anywhere you want. As adventurous as you are, you can take yourself anywhere, right? So, you know, when the snow conditions are low, that's a great opportunity to just pick through the trees, go to places that maybe people haven't been yet.
In Newfoundland, we got extreme backcountry riders. We got guys like going out, they love going out and cut wood. You get people going ice fishing. You know, it's just it's a great way to get outside and enjoy the outdoors.
Needs to be understood about this trip, and it's unfortunate, but it didn't change anything, is that the snow conditions weren't what they normally are. But the reality was, once we got out there, yeah, there wasn't as much snow. That didn't take away from how spectacular this area was. If you applied the snow conditions from last year to this area, this very well might be the coolest off-trail area I've ever seen in my life. We found some pockets of snow. We found some spots to go play. Dustin and I got stuck. Vern got stuck. Everybody got stuck and had a great time.
I waited for you in the passenger seat. There's only so far I can ride in your dreams.
It goes right into a creek.
Yeah.
And it's the flat light. Yeah. I hit it. Yeah. I landed right on the handlebars. Oh.
See, I finally opened up my eyes, and I saw me coming back to life.
One of the things that provided probably the best opportunity for not only some good riding, but some good entertainment was some of the tree riding. So, Vern, how's it going? Pretty good.
I know one day we'll come back around. The future is now.
Dustin! Hey. You were looking good until you hit the tree.
Oh no, who put that there?
One thing I can say is the trees are kind of inviting here. Oh, it looks great, right? But you know, you go in, you bounce off a couple spruce trees, and then you find yourself in a tree hole, and you kind of got to decide if you're going to dig out or if you're going to dig a hole to stay for the night, right?
45 minutes to a half-hour ride to ride in steep hill. Our elevation's over 2,000 feet. You know, riding at sea level, you don't have to worry about the elevation. Snowmobiles work really well.
And again, all it did was solidify in my mind that if the snow conditions were normal, this place would be unreal. And you'd need a 3-inch paddle. You could go nowhere if you didn't have the full jam mountain sled, giving us a great reason to come back. So I guess we're gonna have to come back to Newfoundland again next winter and experience Lewis Hills in deep snow.
We managed to have quite a few stocks and getting tugged with some trees and some ski poles. No doubt, even though the guys all had their helmets on, I could see they were, you know, definitely grinning from ear to ear inside their helmet.
As usually happens when you have a group of guys who just love to rip, you just can't keep people contained. As soon as we hit this open area, man, we just shot off in 3 directions at full throttle. And it's great to do it here because there's no avalanche danger. Normally when you do that in the mountains, you have to be very careful. It's not safe to go up by yourself in case something bad happens. Here, there's no avalanche is gonna happen. The worst thing that's gonna happen, you're gonna get stuck and someone will have to follow your tracks to find you. And that did happen.
Epic fail. I'd have to say the Stuck Award would have gone to Dustin for the day, though. I mean, he buried himself. He almost basically created a little shelter for himself. He had to dig so far down.
You know, you could have stayed home in St. John's.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make a snow fort.
No,
They keep putting trees in the way, man. Oh boy, this is Mother Nature. These darn trees. Right?
This is what top snowmobilers do.
No, this is what they try.
And you're the one that's going through the trees and getting stuck, you know. You don't want to do it every 10 minutes, but a couple times a day, you know, people are always happy to jump in and poke a little fun at you while you're getting on stuff.
Luke and Vern and Dustin definitely took advantage of, you know, all of our bogs and bowls, our tree areas. We still had a great day. We did not get to the highest point, but we did have a great day showing them, you know, our little secret jams are in a place that we'd like to play here in Newfoundland.
It's easy when you're having so much fun riding off trail to forget to eat, but here in Newfoundland, they won't let you forget to eat. Craig and the boys all had a plan for us for lunch while we were out riding. Around here, they have these warm-up shelters, and we've had warm-up shelters where I'm from in the past, but never anything like this.
And they're not just small little shacks. These are really, really well constructed, almost look like cottages, to tell you the truth, from the trail side. And within every warming shelter, they've got a wood stove you can fire up. They got pans that you can make use of, and it's a great little area to sort of do a cook-up. Craig had promised us that he was going to do another boil-up experience. One thing that he said that we're going to be able to enjoy this time was some fresh cooked moose. Craig never disappoints us when it comes to eating. He treated us to some of the best moose stew I think I've ever had. And it was great to sort of sit down and enjoy that after a good day's ride. We still had a bit of a ride to get back home, but we were able to make use of the great trail system that the boys of the Federation have developed here, and we made it back home in no time.
It's kind of eye-opening, and to see how much work goes into maintaining the trail system and how much passion that people in the Snowmobile Federation have, it's great. You know, it really makes me feel happy to be a Newfoundlander and just to see how much passion these guys have.
When we were done at the warming hut, it was getting dark, so it was time to head back. Not only that, but I was exhausted at this point. It was great to have a place to go back to that was as nice as the Appalachian Chalets, which is where we were staying. You know, you open the door and you're just greeted to a warm environment. It felt just like being at home. Well-appointed cabins that are brand new to spend a wicked day getting tired and wearing yourself out. What a spot to be able to come back to just recoup and relax. And Newfoundland's known for that as well. Food, riding, accommodations. Our first day exploring all the incredible backcountry riding opportunities Newfoundland has to offer was excellent. Make sure you stay tuned for our second day of riding, where we hook up with Bob and Tony from the Newfoundland Snowmobile Federation and head out on the amazingly scenic trails on our way to Woody Point.
Trail Tech is sponsored by Princess Auto. Make it work.
At the end of last season on dirt tracks, we worked with Kimpex as well as Can-Am on our Maverick Trail to make ultimate winter functionality possible. Now, I thought we were done, but Kimpex has since sent me a couple more parts that are really going to make cleaning up around the shop way more easier. The Kimpex Click and Go brand of plows was the biggest piece to the puzzle, allowing us to not only plow copious amounts of white gold, but do it in a way that's quick and easy, and also easy to remove or attach. After all, that is the hallmark feature of the Click and Go system. The fact that it quickly and easily clicks both on and off with nothing more than a press of a pedal and a click of the winch hook, and you're away and ready to go. Ready for fun, or likewise a hard day's work plowing anything needing to be cleared. Now, the Click and Go system allowed our Maverick Trail to cross over into the winter months, but when it comes to winter plowing, it can get pretty cold. And that's where the Kimpex heated steering wheel cover came into play. This is one of my favorite side-by-side accessories for those of you looking to get out and work your rig hard in the winter, or even just get out late or early season for a good ride in the cold. The two-stage heat adjustment means that I'm more than comfortable, and when plowing snow, you know a plastic steering wheel will drive the sub-zero temps deep into your digits and cause your work, well, to be harder to do. Add to that the fact that you'll need to exit the cab of the side-by-side to articulate the plow, and you'll be loving this accessory from the first time that you set your paws on it. And speaking of articulation, this is one area I wanted to touch on because Kimpex now has an electronic tilt actuator for all of their Click and Go 2 plows. The technology in our industry never ceases to amaze me. Designed for the Click and Go 2 plow system, both with the regular push bar or the extension for use with the track kit system, it works on all of them. It uses an electric actuator powered from the battery and running back to a powered toggle switch. From the cab, you can angle the blade on the fly, making exiting the side-by-side a thing of the past. With your winch and plow angle controls, you can now direct the snow anywhere that you'd like from the comfort of your seat. And this system will even work on your ATV Click and Go 2 as well. The actuator itself is very robust and will take the abuse of your plowing requirements. The biggest reason for installing the Click and Go 2 power angle system for me is time. Think about how often on large driveways you're going to need to get out and angle your plow. I know for me it can be 5 to 10 times per snowfall. Not to mention, when it's minus 30 out, the last thing that I want to do is stop to angle my plow. This system will leave you in complete control, with zero need to exit your side-by-side or get off your ATV. When you swing a leg over the ATV or buckle up in your side-by-side, the next time that you're going to need to get out or off your rig is when your plowing job is complete. Add to this the actuator's ability to overpower frozen snow and ice when you aren't able to thaw your rig inside, and it truly makes your winter snow removal job like way easier. And for those of you that aren't able to put your side-by-side into a heated garage during the cold winter months, we all know how hard those months can be on your stock battery. But add to this the heavy battery drain of not only your lighting system and heavily running your winch, but now the electric angle actuator and your heated steering wheel cover, and well, you've got the makings of some serious battery power requirements. If your stock battery was ever in question, this is when it's going to go down, and it's the last thing that you need to think about after a big snowfall. Kimpex's brand of maintenance-free, high-performance, absorbent glass mat batteries are built for your ATV or side-by-side's needs, and because they use the AGM system, they're extremely resistant to the abusive vibration of off-road riding, making them not just last longer, but perform better over the longer life. This particular YTX20HL is the 375 cold cranking amp sealed battery that's been factory activated, so no need to fumble with the acid or needing to charge your battery before first use. It's ready to go right out of the box, delivering worry-free, maintenance-free service all winter long. Side-by-sides aren't a typical staple here at SnowTrax TV, but most of us do have one sitting in the garage during the cold winter months. And with a few key accessories, it can make your snow removal a whole lot easier and even a bunch more fun.
No matter what motorized recreational power sport activity you participate in, there is always the big gun, the fastest, the most powerful, the standard bearer by which all others must be judged. Our sport, snowmobiling, is no different. And frankly, I think it's healthy for the sport to have these iconic models. Models which benchmark snowmobile performance invariably garner extra mind space. Sometimes the excess of these models actually fires up our detractors. Okay, I get that, but the last time I checked, Chevrolet is still building Corvettes, Ferrari is still building ridiculously powerful supercars, and Sea-Doo is still making 300 horsepower personal watercraft. So what's my point? This is my point. The 2020 Yamaha Sidewinder SRX is snowmobiling's bad boy, big gun, crotch rocket. Yeah, baby, bring what you got because Mr. SRX is in town. Let's face it, this is a mildly prolific, affluent group of snowmobilers who refuse to show up at Larry's Burger Pit in Poutine on anything less than the best and the baddest snowmo conveyance money can buy. Sometimes they show up on XRS Ski-Doos, sometimes on RR Arctic Cats, and sometimes on XCR Polari. However, for our purposes today, the benchmark is the one and the only world's fastest production snowmobile money can buy. It's the Yamaha Sidewinder SRX 137. So, is the Sidewinder worthy of these lofty laurels? Yep. It throws everything out the window in pursuit of velocity maximum. Quite frankly, there is no second place here. The handle SRX achieved iconic status more than 15 years ago, when this name meant triple cylinder, triple pipe, triple carb, two-stroke power that, in its day, became not just revered, but literally feared by lake-honing top-speed junkies. These metallic blue SRXs carved out a performance image which was, up until this time, mostly foreign to the Yamaha brand. Yamaha was known as a button-down, mid-pack snowmobile brand through the early and mid-90s. That is, until SRX shouldered its way onto the snowmo landscape. Managing the image of an unshaven, bare-chested rocket like the original SRX 700 came quite naturally to Yamaha. In fact, it was like payback for all of those milquetoast VMAX models, which never gained a performance reputation. So how does the Sidewinder SRX occupy this top-of-the-market mind space in model year 2020? It's as simple as it is complicated. The SRX is propelled by the most powerful production snowmobile engine in history. The three-cylinder 999cc twin-cam turbocharged engine is a literal piece of four-stroke motor art. The engine executes the production of its unequaled power output with gentlemanly smooth response, which when leaned on will grab the pilot by the scruff of the neck and take him or her on a 200 horsepower out-of-body experience. There is simply not enough words to describe the thrust the SRX generates when the loud handle is fully depressed. So you might be thinking Motorhead Mark has been into the mushrooms and that I'm over the top in my estimation of the Sidewinder SRX. Friends, listen up. This thing generates supercar retina-detaching thrust. It's almost moot to point out the accoutrements the SRX brings with it. Does it really matter that the SRX has Fox IQS on-the-fly rider adjustable QS3-based suspension? Even though the SRX has a lowered stance compared to other Sidewinders, the IQS system masks any shortfall in actual suspension travel with its near telepathic ability to be adjusted for terrain. This brings up the inevitable reality that the SRX actually produces a really good ride on rough trails. So, yes, it does matter that the SRX has great suspension. In the no compromise category is this 137-inch Camso shredder with an itsy-bitsy 1-inch lug. So why does it have a 1-inch lug? Because there is a measurable improvement in top-end speed with a 1-inch sneaker. Ergonomic amenities are improved this year with a new left side switch cluster for controlling everything from IQS, engine starting, reverse actuation, to hot grips and thumb warmer. It's intuitive, easy to understand switchgear, which you'll come to appreciate. One of our gripes with the SRX is the ridiculous stock windshield, which leaves the rider feeling like he or she is standing directly behind a Boeing 767 warming up for takeoff. Honestly, at 100 per, I felt like I was going to get blown clean off the seat. From a handling perspective, there's good news this year in the form of roll center altering spindles. These new spindles improve initial turn-in and erase 90% of the understeer the original geometry generated. It's clear to all of us here at SnowTrax World Headquarters that the 2020 Yamaha SRX is the benchmark performance sleds must be measured by. If you think you've got what it takes and you're ready for a 200 horsepower pull down Kevlar Lake, you better get a test ride and let us know your impressions.
SnowTrax has been sponsored by Polaris Snowmobiles, MBRP Performance Exhaust, race inspired, trail proven, and by Hercules Tire, ride on our strength.
If you like what you've just seen, click the subscribe button and comment below. And make sure you check out all of our great videos on SnowTrax TV's YouTube channel.